students will be able to learn and do their work? Creating learning objectives for your lessons can feel like a chore, but in this episode of Classroom Quick Tips, I'm going to help you create strong learning objectives that will kick your lesson planning off to a great start. We can break down a strong learning objective into 3 parts, in no particular order: conditions, observable behavior, and criteria. Conditions. The conditions are what students are going to be using to achieve this learning objective. Conditions could be a tool, like using a thinking map, or using whiteboards, or given math manipulatives. Or it could be a strategy, like using the guess and check method, or using the upside down division strategy. The conditions make it clear what students will be using to accomplish the learning objective. Observable behavior. The student behavior is what students will be doing. So think action verbs. Steer clear of general verbs like learn. Students will be able to learn doesn't describe specifically what my students will be doing to learn. Since we can't crawl inside their brains, that's why we say observable behavior. This is where you take out your Bloom's Taxonomy wheel, which I'll provide a link for below. The wheel provides a spectrum of levels of cognitive challenge, from simplistic, like defining, identifying, matching, to most complex, like creating, designing, formulating. This wheel should be next to you when you create your learning objectives, because all your action verbs can come directly from here. Finally, criteria. How will you know that students are successful? This could be a measure of accuracy, like using math manipulatives, students will be able to label the sides and vertices of the polygon with 80% accuracy. But the criteria doesn't have to be something just numerical. It could be something more descriptive, like using the Ramona and Beezus text. Students will be able to describe Ramona's character using 3 pieces of text evidence. So the criteria in that example is that I'm looking for 3 pieces of text evidence in students' work that support their description of the character. Okay, so now that we know the 3 parts of a learning objective, conditions, observable behavior, and criteria, let's practice what we just learned. Here are some learning objectives. Decide whether they're strong or weak. Remember, they must all have 3 parts to be considered strong. Students will be able to create an original picture book using Google Slides by including 5 elements of plot conflict. Strong, we have the observable behavior, create an original picture book, the conditions using Google Slides, and the criteria by including the 5 elements of plot conflict. Next one. Students will be able to create predictions using a fiction text. Weak. We have the observable behavior, create predictions, and the conditions using a fiction text, but no criteria. Try another one. Students will be able to learn about global warming. Super weak. Weak verb, learn. What are they doing to learn? What are the conditions? What is the criteria? Just bad. Students will be able to compare Charlotte's Web and the sheep pig using a thinking map by including 5 similarities and 5 differences. Strong. We have all 3 elements: observable behavior, comparing the 2 books, the conditions, using a thinking map, and the criteria, using 5 similarities and 5 differences. Have a learning objective you're struggling with or wondering now, how strong is it really? Comment below with it and I'll take a look for you. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Classroom Quick Tips. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. It really means a lot. I post new videos every week, so make sure you subscribe and ring the bell to stay up to date on all the new content.